I have partnered up with Alois to make a brand new Mordekaiser guide, and I would say it is the best Mordekaiser guide out there right now. I have given out every single piece of information that I could think of. Absolutely anything that I use, I gave out in this guide. Explaining mid to late game stages, itemization, runes, combos, absolutely anything and everything I could think of. Even video matchups, and some of these video matchups go on to be 20 minutes or longer, just for that one particular matchup. Currently, there are not all top lane champions in video format, but over time I will add more and more of them. This is also where the tips and tricks section of the matchup spreadsheet went, in case you were all wondering. As part of the agreement, I had to move it to this guide exclusively. Every other guide I have is still completely untouched, and the rest of the spreadsheet on top of the mobafire guide is still also the same on the Mordekaiser side. If you want to check it out, you can use the link in the description. With all that being said, please enjoy this video. You do not want to let her stack her passive freely at level 1. If she does, she can just Q onto you and then kill you, especially because she is usually going to run Ignite in this matchup. Her damage gets to be really high, never underestimate it. So what I want to do is deny her from doing that completely. I even burn my ghost to make sure that she can't do it. I know I won't kill off of this ghost, but it does force her to use her potion, and it gives me wave priority here. The thing is, I know for a fact that the moment the wave bounces into her turret, she is going to look to stack up her passive, and then I won't be able to engage her. Even though we will be equal level and we'll both be level 2, I won't be able to walk up, because she will have the full passive, and if she tags me with the E, I'm dead. And it is harder for me to dodge out the E without Ghost. On top of that, because I don't have my E, she can just use her Q to dodge my Q, and then I am going to die horribly. And then the wave will bounce into me and I will lose a lot for it. So instead, what I look to do after my level 1 play is play it extremely slowly. I do not have to walk up at all. All I want to do when I see that the wave is pushing into me with Irelia having full passive stacks is just sit back and let the minions die. I don't need to kill them for the gold, I just need to make sure I get the experience. And once the wave is at my turret and we are both level 3, then I can maybe look for a kill angle on her. At level 6, she can actually one-shot you really easily if she lands her E. So always keep that in mind. Rushing Bramblevest is pretty good against her because it will cut out her healing and she is going to basically always rush Blade of the Ruin King, so you will be able to cut out that lifesteal, but her Q has a healing itself, so you're gonna cut that as well. The only issue with Bramblevest is that if she doesn't auto attack you, she doesn't get heal cut. So if she just dashes to a bunch of minions before auto attacking you, she will still heal a ton. So you can go for Executioner's Calling instead to get that heal cut on her without needing her to auto attack you first, but then you will be much squishier. After Bramblevest, you can go for plated steel caps if you want, and that will allow you to space her even better. But you can't always go for plated because they might have a lot of CC, and then you're gonna need maybe Mercury Treads. I usually like to rush Stridebreaker, but you can also go for Spear of Shojin if you feel like it. Usually I will go Stridebreaker into Shojin. Once she gets her Bork, be very careful because she has some huge damage. Even if you are super strong, if she tags you with her E, she might legitimately one-shot you at Bork. I should never go in like this. Yasuo just died and it's simply not worth it. Even if I kill the Aphelios, we don't get much out of it. On top of that, I have a 1k gold bounty. They sent everyone here for me and Yasuo, and my team actually got Baron out of it. So this was worth it for us. I actually made a significant amount of mistakes here, and all of them could have cost us the game. For example, in this situation, I did not pull the Zoe, so she ends up living, and then I decide to go with my team, which was a mistake. I should have stayed bot lane with Yasuo because we probably could have just ended the game, especially because Irelia just died, and then if I had actually used E to kill Zoe, the enemy team would have had to take a 3v3 fight, and we would hyper win it anyway. We're all alive if they focus on that 3v3 and they somehow win it. Me and Yasuo can straight up 2v3 it, if none of the enemy team members die. I was very displeased with myself here and on some of the following plays. I usually run Sorcery secondary into Singed with the standard setup of Axiom Arcanist and Celerity, but honestly it is a mistake, at least for the super high ranks. And this is because in the very high ranks, Singed won't lane you. He's just gonna perma wave clear and that is literally it. And this is the most frustrating part about this matchup. You might lane him for maybe the first 6 levels, and then it is all about how you can actually deny him his proxy, and how you can put more pressure around the map than he can. Because inevitably he will get that proxy angle. It's basically impossible to deny it fully and forever. And once he gets there, it is going to be so difficult to push him out of it. Especially because Singed will run Phase Rush into Darius. I have not laned a Singed that went Conqueror into Darius in forever. And that is simply because with Phase Rush, he can always run away from you. It is so infuriatingly difficult to catch up to Singed if he has Phase Rush, to the point that it's not even worth it. So instead, what you can do is take Inspiration secondary with Cashback and Cosmic Insight. Cosmic Insight is a very good rune for Darius because it lowers your summoner spell cooldowns, and Cashback allows you to gain extra gold over Singed, because once you complete those legendary items, you will get extra gold. And considering the fact that you're not really going to fight him, you won't use Axiom Arcanist in lane at all. Celerity might be useful because you get movement speed and that's nice for Darius, but Axiom Arcanist isn't going to be used against Singed. It will still be good in skirmishes and fights, but if 90% of the laning phase is just not fighting Singed, then it's worthless for the most part. In the early levels, try to fight for wave control. Do not let him just casually kill all your minions, because the moment he does that, he's gonna run behind your turret and proxy. All you will be able to do is proxy yourself, and that is it. And that is what you want to do into Singed anyway the moment he proxies. You go behind his turret and proxy yourself. Singed will clear the minions and then he has an opening to maybe roam. Usually he will go on mid lane, and when he does that, he might use his fling to get a kill out of it. So you have to ping your team and let them know that that can happen. What you want to do is make sure you also proxy, and if you want to try to deny his proxy, you can instantly recall after killing his wave, because you will walk with your following cleansing wave, and then you might have a chance to stop that proxy that Singed would do. It is not a guarantee, but it might force him to stop the proxy for that moment. Alternatively, you just stay in the enemy jungle and you use your own roam timer. Much like how Singed will look to roam mid lane after clearing the wave, you can do the same. But you can also steal jungle camps. Singed can never do this. And this is because it simply takes him way too long to kill jungle camps. For example, after you kill the minions from behind his turret, you can kill the enemy Krugs, and that will give you an advantage and siphon away resources from the enemy jungler. On top of that, Darius is a huge 1v1 threat. If the Viego isn't hyperfed and he walks into me, I might be able to straight up 1v1 him, which means it won't be safe for him to walk in his topside jungle, which means Singed might have to stop his proxying and come help his jungler. I'm not really talking a whole lot about itemization into Singed, because again, you will genuinely never lane Singed past like 6 or 7 minutes. Unless he takes Conquer, then it's different. And in teamfights, he can be a huge threat. All that speed can make him very slippery, and he can just run in and fling one of your allies. You can try to pull him before he does that, but he's going to be running around with like 600-700 movement speed, so he can look to walk into your pull range and then immediately walk out, which means you are going to waste that pull, and then he can run back in, debuff everyone, poison everyone, and be a massive threat. After he took this wave, I thought he's going to look to proxy, and I have a small window where I can guard my wave and make sure it doesn't happen. However, what he ends up doing is roaming, so I make sure to hyper punish this by pushing in the next wave really hard and taking some plates. I have to abuse this as much as I can. This is essentially the only way Darius can play against Singed and get an advantage. I was actually expecting Kiana to instantly ult the Singed and then we would win off it, but she never used it, because I would be able to get my reset and then they would have to back off and give us the grubs.
Enemy killing spree. Ally has been slain. Will fall soon. An enemy has been slain.
Are you redeemer or your executioner?
Dying here is not ideal, obviously, but I want you to look at the farm difference. Not only did I deny Viego a bunch of Krugs and Raptors, but I am also 70 CS above Singed, and we legitimately have not laned each other for the past 10 minutes or so. Overall, this is a pretty skilled matchup. It's just that I generally don't like to lane Cassante because he can just choose to play super passive, and then your all-in windows are really tough to find. What I like to do into Cassante is rush Spear of Shojin. The damage from it is really good on top of the ability haste. That is also why I take Transcendence, because it will allow you to use your W and Q a lot into him in the 1v1. And this is especially important when he's in all-out form, because his E cooldown gets halved while in all-out. So the ability haste allows you to use your Q and he won't be able to use his lower cooldown E to dodge it every time. His W will also stop your pull, so you have to keep that in mind as well. But you can also stop his W dash and E dash with your pull, so that's good to know as well. Never underestimate his damage because it is quite high. You want to look to dodge out as many Qs as possible against him. Black Cleaver is also pretty solid into him if you want to buy it as a rush item. And this is because Cassante's damage scales off of bonus resists. So if you apply that Black Cleaver shred, not only will you do more damage because he's going to have lower armor, but it also means he will do less damage to you. Generally speaking though, I like to go Shojin into Stridebreaker. Plated steel caps are also pretty good into him, and you can rush them if you want to, because it will allow you to space him out better and dodge more Qs. You also always want to make sure you don't get kidnapped under turret. And you have to also look at the rune he's running. In this situation, he's going Aftershock. He won't have as much short trade power because he isn't running Grasp of the Undying, but in the actual 1v1, that Aftershock is really good because it will buff up his resist really hard, so if he uses his W while his Aftershock is on, it will deal a huge amount of damage. This game, it is going to be tough to select my boots. And this is because if I go for plated steel caps, I will reduce the damage from Cassante, Briar, and Jinx, but that means I won't have more tenacity, and I really need that tenacity against their comp. There is the Cassante Q3 that also has a stun attached to it on top of the knockback, Cassante W, even Cassante Ultimate has a stun on it, Lulu Polymorph, Ari Charm, and there's even more CC than that. It is really good that I took that small tenacity and slow resist rune because that will give me a decent amount of tenacity. And then I can just buy Sterak's Gauge later on, and that way I'm going to have 30% tenacity without actually needing to buy the Mercury Treads. But that will come later, especially if I'm looking to rush Spear of Shojin, because I want to go for Stridebreaker second, so I can go for my Sterak's Gauge as my third item.
Has been slain. Enemy killing spree. Enemy rampage. Slain an enemy is unstoppable. Double kill.
Thank you guys for joining me in this video. I hope you found the information useful, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully very soon.
Night is falling on the old world. You won't live to see the new one.